Imagine a future where you're financially free, you can travel the world, and simply not worry about money. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it doesn't have to be. A Roth IRA is currently the best tax advantage investment account available, and opening and contributing to one can be the best decision you ever make in your entire life. You contribute after-tax dollars and your investments grow tax deferred. That means when you withdraw your money in retirement, it's tax-free. Yup, tax-free. It's like a financial superpower that can supercharge your retirement savings. In this video, we will be going over a quick tutorial on how you can open a Roth IRA on Vanguard and explore some of their investment options that are very popular. If you are serious about securing your financial future, make sure you watch until the end of this video. So let's dive into how you can actually open a Roth IRA on Vanguard. The first thing you want to do is come to investor.vanguard.com and you can see this page right here. What you're going to do is click on products and services, and you're going to click on IRAs. Now, once you get to this page, you're going to click Explore Roth IRAs. And you can see here a Roth IRA offers tax-free withdrawals. You get a future bonus. Every penny you withdraw in retirement stays in your pocket, not Uncle Sam's. You can scroll down here. It tells you what a Roth IRA is. It's an individual retirement account that offers tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Roth IRA rules dictate that as long as you've owned your account for 5 years and you're age 59 and a half or older, you can withdraw your money when you want and you won't owe any federal taxes. That's amazing. If you scroll down, you can see more Roth IRA advantages. So no RMDs, no age limits, no employer plan restrictions, and no taxes for your beneficiaries. You scroll down more, what you need to get started. You just need your bank account and routing numbers, your SSN, and your employer's name and address. So all you have to do now is click open an account here. Once you get to this page, you're going to click on already a Vanguard client or open an investment account. Just get started. It's going to ask you how can we get you started. So you would like to open a new account with money from your bank. And then click continue. It's going to ask you how you want to manage this account. Personally, I would recommend that you manage it on your own. So click invest on my own. And once you get to this page, it's going to tell you an overview of what's next and how to open your account. So you're going to click select your account. And then it's going to ask you a couple questions. So what is your investment goal? It's going to be retirement. Who is this account for? It's going to be myself. And you're going to click on Roth Brokerage IRA. So click that. So once you get to this page, it's a confirmation that you're opening a Roth Brokerage IRA, tax-free growth on investment earnings, and all of these other highlights. You're going to click continue. And then after that, all you're going to do is put in your personal information and create your account. It's literally that simple. So once you've opened your account, you might be asking, what are some good investments to buy inside of a Roth IRA? Well, everyone's investment strategy is different, but for the average person, index funds are a great starting point simply due to the instant diversification that comes with buying these funds. Let's dive into some popular Vanguard index funds right now. All right, the first Vanguard index fund I want to talk about is VFIAX, or the Vanguard 500 Index Fund. This is essentially Vanguard's S&P 500 index fund, which tracks S&P 500, which is an index of the 500 largest companies in the US. So you can see here VFIAX, the expense ratio says 0.04, which means that you would pay $4 for every $10,000 invested. Looking at performance of VFIAX, you can see that it's performed pretty well. 1 year, it's 33%. 3 years is 11%, 5 years is 15%, and 10 years is 13%. You can see that VFIAX is diversified in many different sectors, including communication services, consumer discretionary, financials, healthcare, and information technology. You can see the top 10 holdings in VFIAX include Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and more. Now, one thing I want to note is that VFIAX does have an investment minimum of $3,000. So if you're someone who doesn't have $3,000 to invest at the beginning, one good alternative is the ETF version of this index fund, which is also known as VOO. Let's take a look at VOO. So VOO is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF. Its expense ratio is slightly lower at 0.03%, so you would pay $3 for every $10,000 invested, and this has no investment minimum. VOO has performed pretty well too, 33% in 1 year, 11% in 3 years, 15% in 5 years, and 13% in 10 years. You can see that the sectors are pretty much identical to VFIAX, and you can see that the top 10 holdings are basically identical as well. Next Vanguard index fund I want to talk about is VTSAX, or the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. This tracks the entire stock market and holds all of the stocks in the US stock market. You can see the expense ratio is 0.04%, so $4 for every $10,000 invested. Performance-wise, it's done pretty well. 1 year is 34%, 3 years is 10%, 5 years is 15%, and 10 years is almost 13%. You can see that VTSAX is also diversified in many sectors, including consumer discretionary, financials, healthcare, industrials, and technology. The top 10 holdings also include Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Alphabet, and more. Now, this index fund does have a $3,000 minimum as well, so the ETF alternative alternative is called VTI. Looking at VTI, VTI is Vanguard's total stock market ETF. Its expense ratio is a little bit lower at 0.03%, so you'd pay $3 for every $10,000 invested. VTI's performance is almost identical to VTSAX, so 34% in 1 year, 10% in 3 years, 15% in 5 years, and 12% returns in 10 years. VTI is also diversified into many different sectors, pretty much identical to VTSAX. The top 10 holdings are almost identical as well. The next Vanguard index fund that I personally like is VIGAX, or Vanguard's Growth Index Fund. The expense ratio for this index fund sits at 0.05%, which means that you would pay just $5 for every $10,000 invested. Now, this is a growth index fund, so it's a little bit more focused on growth. So you can see the performance is 1 year 37%, 3 years is 9%, 5 years is 18%, and 10 years is 15%. Since this is a growth index fund, it's heavily weighted into technology in terms of sectors, and you can see that the top 10 holdings are pretty much mostly technology companies. So like the previous index funds, VIGAX does have an investment minimum of $3,000, but a great alternative is known as VUG. VUG is Vanguard's growth ETF. The expense ratio for VUG is just 0.04%, which means that you'd pay $4 for every $10,000 invested. Performance for VUG is pretty much identical to VIGAX, so 1 year is 37%, 3 years is 9%, 5 years is 18%, and 10 years is 15%. Now, sectors are pretty much weighted exactly the same as the index fund version, and the top 10 holdings are pretty much the same as well. The next index fund is VITAX, which is Vanguard's Information Technology Index Fund. Now, the expense ratio for this index fund is slightly higher at 0.1%, so you would pay $10 for every $10,000 invested. Now, the biggest downside of this index fund is that it has an investment minimum of $100,000, and most people don't have that much to invest at the beginning. Therefore, we have the alternative VGT, or the Vanguard Information Technology ETF. This has no investment minimum, and the expense ratio is exactly the same at 0.1%. This ETF pretty much tracks major stocks in the information technology sector. Because this is information technology, you can see the gains are much higher. So 1 year is 35%, 3 years is 12%, 5 years is 22%, and 10 years is almost 21%. All the sectors in this ETF are in information technology, so application software, communications equipment, semiconductors, and system software, and more. You can see the top 10 holdings are pretty much all information technology stocks, so Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Broadcom, Oracle, Cisco, Adobe, and more. This ETF is great for an investor who really wants to get aggressive with information technology stocks. That is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you learned a lot, and if you did, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more future content just like this. Your life is a masterpiece, so let's unlock your full financial potential together. And with that, I will catch you in the next video. Take care.